Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is Monday. Thank goodness we've got here. We always like the idea that when we get to, when it's Monday, it's nice to think that, okay, cool, we're here. All right, let's get the chat line up. There we go. We should be seeing the chat line any second now. There it is. And I see just Robin. Hey, Robin. Yo, yo. Oh, I saw the email over. I collected it up. Thank you very much. Let's see what else we got going on here. I just heard something go through my phone. What was that? I just downloaded OS 16. What a pain in the neck that is. Let's see what this is. Okay. So. What a great picture. There we are. So, one of the sons sent a picture of another son. It's very interesting. I might show it a little while from now. But let's get the markets functioning here. There's the dollar index, as you can see. Oh, you can't see. Why is that bleeding over more like that? There we go. Okay, there's the trade balance. Not too bad. I mean, we don't expect the trade balance to be good. I mean, the economy is kind of like, it's coming out of its recession. I know everybody else thinks it's going to a recession. I think it's visited the recession a year and a half ago when you had 2 minus quarters of GDP. And now we are in the recovery. And the recovery is very anemic. It's just not very exciting, but that's the way it goes. We're getting lots of chitty chats. Let's see what this is. Oh, geez. Let's see. There we are. Let's see now. Let's get over to where are we at? Okay, let's get that up on the screen. There is the dollar index out of Chicago Quant. Right there. There's September contract. And you can see it's trying to lift up a little bit today, but at the same time, it just missed going into the sell on Friday. And it didn't make it into the weekly buy, but the fast had made it in there. So we need the slow now is joined in. You see that 0.01. So that's where we stand with that. Let's see now. All right. So what else can we say about the dollar index? Well, it's playing with the sell today. We're on. Let's take a look at the J4X. You can see the same thing over there where you got a little red going on. That was the monthly we're looking at. Let's go to the daily again. And then daily, it's showing that weakness. You see the blue at 52. You see the slow at 69. The divine 69.5 and 52. So 17-point difference. The pressure is on. There's no doubt about it. And that was from Friday for sure. But on Monday, it's turning up now. Where you got, over here where we have the price up. We have the weekly trying to get through the buy now very comfortably in the sense that it has the only reason I say comfortably is because the fast is already through it. And and you can see here it's bouncing the intraday, or let's say the daily. You can see it bouncing off the manifold, and it's higher for the day. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they play this out by the end of the day. Do they put it into a daily sell while it's in a weekly buy? Don't want to be short that. That's for sure. And some of the conversation I've heard, all the conversation I've heard really is showing that that they think there's going to be like an inflation burst again because of the oil prices. Z, how you doing? Yep, there's the U.S. dollar index, as you can see. It's on the edge. It's been in a daily buy since back here in the 99s. It's been in the weekly sells from the 103s. So it's not really telling you, unless you're doing it through binaries and options, you'd be long. Hard delta, you got to be careful because you can get stopped out and then find the thing higher the next day. That's the problem with those things when they're fighting with each other. They're much more choppier. But without a doubt, it's been in that daily buy now for a bunch of days, and it doesn't seem to want to let go. And you can see the same thing over on J4X. You see all that strength on the daily. It doesn't seem to want to let go. And we're waiting for it to give us a direction. So I guess that's what we can say about the dollar index. Do you have any other questions about the dollar index? We can try to look at it deeper if you have any more questions. But we don't see anything more than that at this point. I'll have a sip of tea while you're thinking about that. There we go. Okay. Oh, there we go. So, what's this now? This is did DD this one. DD. You sound like a New England trader. They used to do that. DD. Yeah. Have any reason to come dollar index to the 1026? Right now, it's acting like it's going to try. That's the interesting point because we got this thing playing with the weekly buy at the moment, and if the green line here closes this week, or it just goes through the top part of the manifold this week, yeah, I could see us, challenging these the 103 area. Really, I could see it getting up into that area. Let me just answer this text. There we are. On your statement. There we go. Statement. There we are. Statement. Let's see, what else can I say about that? Okay, so if it could summarize, what's your trading stop? Purely PA? What's PA stand for? It's probably something I should know. Proprietary or indicators? Oh, proprietary. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm explaining here now. You can see the weekly is right here. See that on this screen here? On the second screen, this Chicago quant screen. We'll make it the whole screen for a second there for you. Let's go find that. There we go. Bingo. There we are. You can see right here, right there at that point. This thing's at, now it's at 0.00. Was 0.001. If this thing closes above in the plus or on the zero with this thing in the daily sell, you don't really want to take a short unless you're going to sell like call spreads or binaries or something like that. In other words, a bearish position in options. But if it closes through that and is plus, you don't even want to do that because the strength is coming in and the daily may join in, especially with it up for the day right here. You can see we got a red dot. It's trying to climb, and that's a classic upside move. We go into the daily sell, we get into the daily buy, and the next thing you know, it goes into the daily buy and it takes out the 103. And so that's the way our math works. The way it continuously works for the last almost 40 some odd years, and back tested almost about 90, depending on what you're back testing it on. And then in science, we've back tested it over 37 million years. I know that's a weird statement. We'll just forget that one for the time being. But what it says basically is that if it does that, the odds are, it's going to gain in value. And it's going to get up and probably to challenge these highs here. So it'll probably get through. I see the 102.60 area you might be thinking about, and there too. But I think it's going to probably try to challenge the 103, which is really surprising in its own right. But I'm hearing a lot of conversations about people starting to prepare for a reinflation that's going to start up because they're concerned about the crude oil prices and the oil reserve. Mr. Biden can't really draw much more down out of the oil reserve and things like that. So and what happens, the last final is our math over the last 45, 50 years, in back testing and live trading for 45 years, but back testing even further, that it always wins more than loses. About 8.5 out of 10 times it wins. So what happens is that when you take a loss in it, the odds are very heavy. The next time around, it's like the pass line on crap. You're gonna, the odds are in your favor more. And if it doesn't do it a second time, it's not like on the pass line on playing in the casino, because then the odds go way up high that it's going to get into a buy and so forth and be successful and make the losses back. And so that would be the PA, I guess you could say. Z says, have any reason to come to the dollar to 102.60? Yeah, that conversations I've been hearing lately. I believe, to me, the recession happened. It happened in was it the beginning of 22? So the first 2 quarters of 22 were minus. That's a recession. Now, the administration refused to accept that, and they kept on saying, no, this is not a recession. But it is a recession. It's historically always been a recession. And so I believe we finished the recession, and the reason why the administration didn't want to talk about that or accept it is because they knew then people would be saying this is a very weak recovery. So instead they want to pretend that the recession hasn't come and that it's coming down the road, and that's why it's weak right now. And then once it's done, his policies are going to get us through it and make us climb up, but it's not happening. And so, yeah, that's the reason why I think there's a good chance at 102.60, which I'm really surprised. I thought, I really thought a few months back, when we got into that weekly sell, and I thought, when we were at the 102.5, and I thought this was the one that was going to break the 100, and it did, and we went down into the 99s, I thought that this would be the beginning of a much lower dollar, because I thought that, markets were looking at the idea that we were going to change administrations in about 15 months, and that the dollar would stay firm. But maybe what we're really seeing is the top end of the range, the 103 and change up to close to 104, and then a move back down again. Remember, we're coming down from 115. And when you're coming down from 115, 104 is not exactly like taking out the top or something. It's just a bounce. It's a dead cat bounce, no less. So, yeah, that would make excuse me, that would make all the sense in the world. I'm going for the T again. There we go. So, let's see. If you're done with the dollar, we'll go on. But if you want to talk about the dollar more, we'll look at the dollar more. I'm never afraid, or I'm never apprehensive, or I'm never anti go back and look at a chart we just looked at 10 seconds ago. It doesn't bother me at all. Because the more we look at it, we can look at our math and look to see what the nuances are showing more. In other words, normally I throw it up there for you to see the charts, and I would assume that you're a follower, and I've been doing this over 10 years on this channel, and so if someone says, "Oh, I want to look at it a little bit closer," I go, "Okay, fine," because I'm not looking, I'm not looking at it that close. I'm just looking at it. I'm going through a rhythm. In other words, I look at it now, and then I go onto the euro, and I go onto the cable, and I look through a whole cycle. But I love going back and dissecting a chart and bringing out everything I can tell you about what I'm hearing that combines with the chart. So that really, that's a cool thing. I'm right there with you, And I'll go back to I'll go to the euro. But if you say, "Hey, let's go look at the dollar chart again," I'll go look at the dollar chart. I don't have a problem with that at all. Let's minimize that. Let's go over here. Let's put the euro. See, there's the dollar chart there. Let's show you also, before we leave it, let's show you the weekly. And you can see the weekly's been like, the weekly's at 66 and the slow is at 51. This thing's been in the buy on the weekly for like 2 or 3 weeks, which is, it's very rare for this chart to be ahead of the curve. So it's telling us that it's cycling at a much lower rate than, or let's put it this way, it's very slow. And so there's not a lot of participation. Normally, the J4X chart that we have set up there is one of the best charts out there for free. And the little system we've set up, which we call Manhattan, which is a fast stochastic right there, the blue, versus a slow, is much more accurate than a MACD or an RSI or anything else, a parabolic. I think its parabolics are a little bit more accurate than the other two I just mentioned. And so, but this is very accurate, okay? And so, and so it's rare for this to be ahead of our work here. And so it's kind of impressive. Now, our fast, let's just go back to that dollar index for a second on Chicago Quant, now that you got me talking about it more. Right there. So right there, you can see the weekly, it jumped in there last week. It jumped through the zero line right there. And it's been pressing up. Is that it? Yeah. So it's been doing the same thing. It's been joining in with this. But, it's not, we want the slow to join in. That's what we want. We want to see this one right here on the weekly basis, the slow to join in. When that joins in, it's confirming that there's a lot more strength. And when you look at this chart like that, you can see that, it seems to have done some type of bottoming in here. And, will it go up and challenge, say, the 105, was that 105.85 or the 104.59? I would think it would come up underneath these and make a lower high. And that would make sense. Lower, there's the all-time high. Then you have, I think that's the all-time high, isn't it? Yeah, that's the all-time high. And then, back in the 22 and going into the third quarter. And so, what you got here is this is a lower high from that, of course. This is a lower high from that. And I guess traders thought this would be the lower high to this, but I think it's going to work its way up the way it's, we've gotten into the that 11-day daily buy. Where's it at again? That long 11-day daily buy, and now we are moving into the weekly buy. So it's kind of trying to scream to us that something else is brewing here. And the only thing I can think of is the inflation story is really starting to break out. It's really starting to push and get louder and louder and louder. So I guess that's about the only way we can look at it at this point. So that's pretty much the full connection of it all. Let's see what else we got here. Let me think. No, I guess that's it. We'll jump back over to the euro at this point. Over here. There. But if you want to talk about it, believe me, I'll go right back to it again. I have no problem there. All right, let's put the euro up there. Let's see, dollar index, euro, right there. And there it is right there. You see the euro's in the weekly's been in a weekly sell. That's interesting too, and that's doing the same thing as the dollar index. It's doing that inverse relationship very clearly. Whereas over here, our fast went into the sell and showed the weakness, but our slow has not, and it's still sitting at the plus side. And it's in a daily buy now for 2 days. And today's the second day. Now let's take a look at it on the daily. Yeah, it's doing the same thing. It's joining in. The fast is above the slow. Even it's about 17 points above it. And so there's definitely more pressure on that. Also, I noticed because we watched the Euro GBP too. It's been weak, and the cable has been weak. So we're seeing that weakness out of both of them. Let's see. U.S. dollar fully learned. Oh, okay. Have any reason? All right. So you're happy with that, I guess. Good, Z. And that is pretty much. Look, I am a bit surprised that the inflation is raising its head again. I was expecting it to stall out in the fives. It seems to be in that area. The year over year is at like a 5, but the monthly is dropped down into the high 3s or low 4s or something like that on the CPI. So, and that's coming out this week. We have CPI and PPI coming out this week. But what's starting to disturb people is that and this is the most interesting thing of all, is the energy reserves. They have been depleted down to a point where I don't think they want to take from from them anymore. And so and we've seen our oil price, gasoline prices increase by 30% over the last 4 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that, 3-4 weeks, which is normally starting to roll over at this point. So that's starting to scare the analysts when it comes to inflation and so forth. All right. All right. There we go. From there, we go over to the British pound. There we are. There's a British pound. It is playing with the buy now. It wasn't doing it this morning, that's for sure. So, and you can see the weekly is underneath right there. So we're seeing pressure in both directions. It's trying to get into a buy. The weekly is trying to get into a sell. The fast is moving up. The slow is moving down. It's your classic last week and a half to 2 weeks in July and the first 2 weeks in August. Every year, our math goes this way every year. You know, you can go back and look at the hundreds and thousands of YouTubes I have up there from Dukascopy, and you know, we talk about it every year. It's always been that way. It's gotten a little bit shorter. It's kind of interesting that way. Ever since QE, it's not as long as it used to be. It used to go on for like 3 weeks on the August side and like 2 full weeks in the July side, or 2.5 weeks. It was like 5.5 week, you know, real doldrums, you know, sloppy math, sloppy everything. Our numbers dropped into the 60s, 65, 70. But since quantitative easing, they're like 79, 82. You know, they're right around there. But more than that is the lethargic or slow-moving process. And you can see J4X is telling us that because of the way it's slipped into a buy and don't really care. It's just kind of, you know, just stuck in there. And that's because things are so slow that it's now, you know, making the J4X much more functional. And that's the way that usually works too, which is interesting. All right, now from there, let me just answer this again. Let me just answer it. I'm just answering it. 30. I don't know. Let me answer this. Just finishing this off. There we go. Got rid of that. There we are. Now, from there, we slide over to... Where are we sliding over to? Let's see. We're looking at cable. I guess we're done cable, aren't we? Yeah. So, it's going to be interesting to see how cable plays out, too. Now, let's jump over to Swiss. Right there. You know, it went into the daily sell on Friday. Let's steal a daily sell. Let's just move that over like that. Went into a daily sell on Friday. It's a little bit up today, but nothing major. It's still in that weekly sell. And like everything else, the fast has moved through into the weekly buy. And is it that way on J4X? Let's see. Right there. There's the daily. It's got the two reds going on too. Now let's take a look at the weekly. Now that went through the weekly buy last week and is trying to do it again this week. Just like our fast, that's what the blue line is. But we want a more guaranteed wins. We're here to make money, not just trade. So we're looking at this and we're saying, okay, you know, if the fast, or I'm sorry, if the slow joins in with it, well, it tells us that there's strength coming in on a week-to-week basis, and it's in a daily buy, you can take the daily buys. But if it's not in a daily buy, then you don't take them. That's how it works. They have to align together. But it doesn't stop you from understanding the pressure on the market, you know, if it's going up or down. There's the dollar yen slid into a, let's throw a sell in there. It went into a sell on Friday. No, that's the wrong spot to put it. Remove. Right there. There's the sell. So, what else can we say about that? I guess, You can see this sloppiness in the July August thing. It goes into a sell, comes back into a buy, and then goes back into a sell. Now it's the second week of a sell, and over on J4X, it's in a weekly buy. It's just real sloppy action. The markets, are, it's summer. That's what it comes down to. It's summer. That's how it works. Summer is summer. It's slow moving, low action, whole bit. So from there, we go to Turkish lira. There you go. But if you want to see any of the products we've talked about, or you want to see one you haven't seen, we'll gladly go to it. So just let us know. You can see this is interesting. Turkish lira, Euro Turkish lira pairs trade in a daily sell for a bunch of weeks now. The weekly is trying. You can see the fast is breaking down this week right there. The slow is not. Let's put it up on J4X. Right. Oh, I got the mic lower down. There we go. The mic had moved over. Where's it at? Right there. There we are. So you can see here, it's doing the same thing. It's lots of pressure, and it seems to be tailing out at the moment. That's how we used to refer to it on the floor. Tailing out. It's running to the end. Tail end. You can see here, blue is at 69. You can see here, fast is at 78. So it is trying to break down. This has been one heck of a move. We've been in the weekly buy since 20. There we are. We went to the weekly buy right there. It's been in a weekly buy for all that. Would be interesting if it got into a sell. I'm not sure if it's going to, but it's trying. The fast is going there. It does have that topped out look to it at the moment. I'm not sure if there's anything else that I don't. We've talked about this product. There's not a lot to be said about it. Oh, AUD. Okay, let's check it out. AUD CAD. See, let's try. I thought we used to have AUD CAD in there. Let's put it in there. We'll put it in this spot right here. While I'm doing that, I'll use my left hand and put it on J4X. AUD CAD. Gotta punch it in. AUD. No, that's the wrong keyboard. AUD CAD. There we are. And let's try this again. Put it up on Chicago Quant. You can see it's loading in on J4X. There's the CAD. Let's put the weekly in there. There you are. Close. Oh, it's been in a weekly sell from here, the 90s. Went into the weekly sell at 89.70. Let's put that right there like that. Bingo, bango, bongo. Because it broke the manifold at the same time. And then it stayed there. It's been in the sell since. And the fast took a while for the fast to catch up. That's interesting. And you can see the daily. We went into the daily sell right there on that same day. That's interesting. And then it went into a buy here. You wouldn't take the buy. If anything, you just make sure you're not short. like so. Then it fell back into the sell again, and then Friday it looks like it went into the buy. So let's put that there. And it was a very sloppy sell, but it was in a weekly sell, daily sell, and sure enough it made its money, that's for sure. Not very easily though. You had a big swing going on in there. And then there's the buy. Let's jump back into the buy again, but the weekly is not in a buy, so the idea really is to take the next sell again. Let's see where it's at. I guess it made a low of what, 85.96 back in that's the weekly. Okay, so I guess what's that saying? It says in July. Okay, there. So I guess it'll go after possibly this low right in here on the 87.11. Let's see. Someone just texted me on the Dukascopy side now. Let's see. Or not me. I can't tell. That's what I'm trying to figure out now. Make sure it's not Giannis or something saying something. Let's see. Right there. Loading in. We're a busy little bee here sometimes. Sometimes we're totally bored too. That's why we have a rhythm we go through. So does that help out with your AUD? Hey, hey, hey. And I can't read that, but I'm trying to remember. I saw that before. Hi, how you doing? Is that Mohammed, is it? I think it was Mohammed, right? Let's see. Now, let's take a look at that message I've got. Or maybe it's just, good morning, Dukascopy family. I need to postpone. Oh, okay, someone's canceling out their webinar. All right. I'll read it out loud in case anybody's watching. I need to postpone our today's stream down to tomorrow. Sorry for the inconvenience. Bye for now. Okay. I think that's, I forget who that is. From Brazil, maybe. All right. So that is what's going on at the moment. So not much more to say about that. I hope AUD or the AUD gave you enough info. Nice little pop, I guess. What can we say about this? Looking at, there's the weekly. It's had a lot of pressure on it coming down from the 95 area. That's for sure. Let's take a look how it acted over here on Chicago Quant. That buy should be moved over to there. It was in a sell from here for it to slide down. That was a nice win. Where'd the sell start? Sell started there, and the weekly was in a sell from here. So that was a nice winner. There we go. And then you got into a buy, and so you couldn't be short for this whole move up. You had to be flat or protected, one or the other, because our weekly sell, daily buy means neutral. Do not be short. And then it went into a buy at the top. Funny. The fast had gotten in there a couple weeks before that. So it goes into that. Let's put that in there. Like that. And then let's show you the sell. The next, literally, within a couple of days, it's back into the sell before the end of the week even. It breaks the manifold. Like that. Oh, let's change the color too. There we are. So it jumped into the sell there. That sell was there. So it went into the weekly buy and went right back into the weekly sell faster than light. That's funny. And the daily got you protected right there. So you didn't get trapped. And then we're in the sell again. And then here somewhere you can be short for this whole move. Basically from this one, from the 89 area, which took you down to the 87 area. About 200 point move. So that is the action. And then that's a sell. You know, I should do cancel that. Move that over. There's your buy. For that, we were in a daily buy from here. And let's see if we can steal a buy. Steal that buy. There's the daily buy. Just double check it. Yep, that was a daily buy. And that went on to basically up in here. And then we went into the sell again right there. And that's where we're at now. How does that make all the sense, Z? All good? There we are. That's why we like to do, you know, if someone asks for something, we love to show you how the math evolves right in front of your eyes. All right, what else can we say about any of these? Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was Mohammed. Cool. So there's the AUD. What was that? The AUD CAD. We used to watch the New Zealand CAD. That was a real good indicator of oil and you know, the way oil was going. But that seemed to break up. All right, now we watch CAD, dollar CAD, to match up the oil. All right, from there we move over to, where were we? Turkish lira. So we go over to the Mexican peso now. Let's try that. There's the weekly. You can see the pressure on that. It's trying to bounce from last week. Fast is at 38, the slow is at 30, so it's showing the strength there. Let's take a look at it over here. Did it close in the weekly buy? Let's see. Yep, it did. It closed in a weekly buy. Let's find a buy for it. It's flirting with the weekly sell already. All right, now, been in a daily buy from here about 5 days back. And it's kind of hesitant, but you can see it's flirting with the line here. As long as we're in a buy, and if you're long it still, when you know, because of our math telling you, if you didn't take a profit yet, take some profit since it's higher than where we entered. But overall, this is playing the bottom in here, and we're not expecting a lot of good action out of anything for the next couple, at least another week and a half, or at least another week. So, but I think that we know that the conference for the BRIC nations is August 22nd, and today's the August 7th. So, what's that? 13. That's 15 days away, and we're expecting to see some more action in this particular product, and it's been a really good trading product. So, I can't complain whatsoever at this point. What else can I say? I guess the next spot to go is, let's go to the South African Rand, the second biggest BRIC as far as we're concerned, where the Mexican peso we think is number one. You can see it went into the buy here. How come we don't have a buy in there? Let's steal a buy from somewhere. Let's steal this one. Move it over to there. Went into the buy there on the daily. It's still in the buy, holding up fairly well. You know, we had a nice move. It's plateauing. The weekly is still having a hard time getting going. We've got the fast through the zero line, so we know there's buying going on, and we know the daily has been in the buy, so we know that it's trying to go up, and it has gone up. Now, normally, when the South African Rand goes up, in other words, it's losing against the dollar. When it's going down, it's gaining against the dollar. So when it's weakening like that against the dollar, we take a look at gold itself. And I think we're going to change that rhythm a little bit. We'll go from gold to silver and not go to the oil market. Not go to Canadian. And then we'll go to Canadian after we're done. This way we kind of get all the stuff we usually look at in. So you can see it went into the sell here. And it is still in the sell. And that's silver. Let's put gold in there. There's the gold. It's been going down in value as the South African rand has been going up in value, like that. Let's put the rand up on J4X too. And let's put it in as a daily, right there. So you can see it's been going up, losing against the dollar. And let's see if we can do this again. Right there, to there. Right there, you can see gold has been going down in a sloppy, slow, steady run on the fall from the 2020 area, really, down to the 1960 area. Not a big move, but gold is definitely, doesn't have a lot of punch. Matter of fact, we've labeled a few webinars where we're saying like this is really weird. Gold is going up, gold is going down. And so is the market, the stock market, which is kind of odd. They usually work against each other. Usually, when the market is going up, that and the dollar index too. Usually, dollar index is going up. Gold is going down. But lately, they've been all marching together. It's been kind of odd. Now, in this case here, though, we do know that gold has been going down over that same time period, like that, and the dollar index. Let's just put it up on the screen here again. Has been moving up. Right there. See? Moving up. So that's why the weekly, though, is really screaming at us like, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. So the overall trend here might be, as we've said before, and that is they're going to take them up because they're concerned about the inflation coming. And then we'll see what they do with that. Are they going to start like interpreting... can they interpret it differently maybe or change the opinion? I don't know. We'll see. Now from there, we go over to, let's go back to the silver. There's silver. And silver is in a sell. But they're both, gold and silver, are in weekly buys. Let me just go back to the gold. I think it's a weekly buy, isn't it? Yeah, it's been in a weekly buy. So this is not much of a sell-off. Now over here on J4X, let's put it up over here. You'll see there's gold. And let's put it in a weekly basis. And it's been in a weekly sell for 2 weeks, but it had been in a buy for 3 weeks. So it was really a lot upside down going on there. Well, I guess it joined in, so it's pushed into the sell. I see, yeah, so I don't know. In the end result is that I know that we've been in a buy for 5 weeks here. This is the 5th week. And so over here, it bottomed with it and tried to push into a buy when we thought that it was at a buy. Then it pushed you into a sell. And, like today, Friday it was higher. Today is a little bit higher. Nothing serious. It's just like flattish up by $1 or so. Actually, it's down $1 now in the futures contract. So there's not a lot of clarity in that action whatsoever. All right, now from there we slide over to silver. You can see the same thing on silver. On the weekly, it's jumped up. Now it's back down. Over here, we're still in that buy. We're not letting go of it. I think that the metals are going to be positive more than negative. Let's look at copper right there. Copper, I think we were going to start watching copper with the Shanghai index or something like that. I remember last week we talked about doing that. And we got it here too. Let's see if we can find it on J4X. We found it last week, the Shanghai index. There it is. So as copper goes up, the Shanghai index is going up also. We think they work together. And then I think what we do is we're able to get it on this. Our new platform that we're beta testing. That's not it. Right there. Let's see, where are you at here? Right there. And there's the Hong Kong index. You see the weekly's been in a weekly buy for 3 weeks. And actually, it's been in a long buy in the sense that it was in a weekly buy all the way back here. We went into one weekly sell and right back into the weekly buy. Now that's kind of interesting. Over here, see what the that's the weekly there. Shows you it's been in a weekly buy for a while. And they keep on pressuring it. Lots of pressure on the upside. And then when we go back to copper, right, oh, no, that's Brent. There's copper. We'll go back to Brent in a few seconds. You can see in and out on the weekly. Went into the sell there somewhere around in here. It's kind of interesting. We're beta oh, you can't see the beta. Let's put it up on there. There we are. So you can see here, we have to extend this so it goes back further so we can see it all. But in the end result is that it's in a weekly buy for 3 weeks, and copper is just rolling over. Let's see what copper is doing. Again, minimize copper. There's copper. You can see, it's in a buy for a couple days. Actually, it's not reflecting that. So let's just double check if that's right. Trading copper. Let's see, which copper is that? That's September, right? Yep, there it is. There's September. Yeah, so that's wrong. That's got to be. Let me see if I can fix it by just changing the time frame. Setting. There we are. A little bit better, but it didn't go into the buy on Friday. It definitely didn't go into the buy on Friday. All right, well, we'll work on that. Let's just show you oil real quick, and then we're going to get out of here. You can see right there, oil's been acting extremely strong, and this is why they're fearful of it. You can see it went into the daily buy down here in the 75, went into one daily sell and came right back into a daily buy and doesn't seem to want to let go. And you can see over here on Brent's up over the 85 the last I saw it. Let's put Brent in there. Yeah, it's 86 now. So the pressure is on the oil market. There's no doubt about it. Like I said, Mr. Biden has done things that are going to hurt everybody in the end. So, all right, traders, we're out of here. This is Doc from North America saying happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, later, traders. Let's see. Where do we go from here? Right there. Whoop.